Welcome to my channel. My name is Teacher Jaziri and I love mental maths. So welcome to my channel today. In today's videos, we're going to talk about, in today's video, we're going to talk about squaring, like squaring any number. So sit back and relax and enjoy this presentation, okay? So what is squaring? Squaring is basically multiplying a number by itself, okay? So let's say, for example, if you're supposed to square 2, this basically means 2 by 2, which should give you then 4. If you are supposed to square, let's say 3 square, this basically means 3 by 3, which then gives you 9. So to square a number, you are basically multiplying that number by itself, like 3 by itself, by another 3. Okay, so I hope that now you've understood the concept. Now let's go to different ways of squaring. First of all, I want to show you how to square numbers that are closer to 100. And every time you get numbers that are closer to 100, there are always tricks how you can do this, how you can square these numbers and come up with a very quick answers, sometimes without even taking a pen to write or to calculate. Okay, so let's go to the first one here, which is 99. So in most cases, if someone gives you what is the square of 99, and then you are like, this is, you would want to take a pen and do this calculation. But in real sense, if you know what I'm going to tell you, if you have the knowledge of what I'm going to tell you, what I'm going to teach you now, you could just see that you could already see an answer from this, from like without doing calculation. But since you don't have this knowledge, I want to teach you this. So in this case, what you want to do, you get 99, and because we are orienting ourselves with 100, and you get the difference between 99 and 100, and that is 1. So you subtract that, and that one gives you 98. What that shows is it gives you 9,800. Like that's how it should be. Like it gives you 9,800. Okay, and then the difference between that number and 100, you can square that. So that would give you plus 0, 1 squared is 1. So you have 9801 as the square of 99. I mean, given that, I can imagine that now you know exactly what 98 squared is, because 98 squared, if you take the difference between 100 and 98, you are getting 2. If you subtract that 2 from 98, you have 96. If you square then the 2, you have 4. So this one will be 96/4. Yeah. Let's try 97. So you look at 97. What is 97? What is the difference between 100 and 97? You have 3. Now 3 subtract from 97, you remain with 94. That is 9400 plus then 3 squared. So that one gives you 09. Now let's try this one. This is 86 squared. Now 86 squared, you know the difference between 86 and 100. So what you will do, this is a nice one, nice example. So you know the difference is 14. So you subtract that one, and that one gives you 72. Now 7200. Now plus 14 squared, which is 196. Yeah. So when you do that, you will have here 7396, and that one is your answer. So you can imagine, like, just looking at these answers, you can imagine just looking at these numbers, now that you've come up with that knowledge, that I've given you that knowledge, now that you have this knowledge, you see that squaring any number closer to 100 is so easy. Yeah. And we didn't have to do a lot. Like after knowing the knowledge from the first one, you could do 98 squared for easily. You could do 97 squared easily. You could do 86 squared easily without taking a pen. So that's the advantage. Now, on the other hand, if you have numbers that are above 100, you don't subtract at this level here, but you add. So that means you take 103 and 100. So you get the difference is 3. So if you have 103, what you want to do is the difference is 3. So you add instead. When you add, that gives you 106, and this 3 you square. So this 106 is in 100. So if you square 3, you get 9. So if you add, this one gives you 10 or 6, 0, 9. Yeah. And the same goes to 122. So for 122, you are looking at what is the difference between 122 and 100. So this one will be 140. This one is going to be 22. Now, what you do is you add 22 here, and that one will give you 144. So what you have here is 144, and that is in 00s. Now, what you want to add is the square root, like you square then 22. What is 22 squared? 22 squared gives you 384. So what you have there would be 14,784. 147, that is 14,784. And that one becomes your answer. Yeah. How about 115 squared? So 115 squared, like I said, it's also easier. So you can already see you add 15 here. So for this, you have, because, so you want to add 15 to 115, so that gives you, so for 115 squared, you look again at what's the difference between 115 and 100. You see this is 15. Now that 15 you add here gives you 130. So that is 130, 0. Then you want to multiply what is 15 squared, which is 225. So let's do, what does 15 have? So 15, 115 have. 115, you look at the difference between 115 and 100. What you get here is 15. Now, that means that 15, you will add it here. And that one gives you 130 in bracket 0. And then you add into it 15 squared, which is 225. So what you have here is 132.25. That's 13,225. Very easy. And for 110 squared, it's the same. So you already know the difference between 110 and 100. So that is 10. So you add it here. You add it to 110. So that one gives you 120. And then 0 in bracket. And then you add 100. So that one gives you 121. Like so. So that is easy. And I hope that you can easily get this. And understanding it should be very, very easy because it's playing with the numbers, and just from looking at these numbers, you get an answer without even doing calculation. So now, from now on, looking, and the more, by the way, the more you do this mathematics, so the more you play with these numbers, the more you get so conversant with the numbers, and the mathematics will always come into your mind like automatically. You don't have to do anything. So this for me is a nice way of doing like squaring numbers close to 100, and you can always use this method to do your calculation. Yeah. So another way, so the next procedure, so the next, I want to show you how to square numbers that are close to 1000. Like numbers close to 100, the procedure remains the same. So let's see. So if you're given 998 to square, what you have there is, you look at the difference. What's the difference between 998 and 1000? So the difference there, you will see, yeah, so let's say you subtract 998 and the difference there becomes 2. Yeah. Now you take 998, you subtract 2, so you have 996, and this is in thousands because now we are talking about thousands. But then you still have 2 to square, which brings you, so you add, then it gives you 2. So what you have here is 996,004. Actually, yes, that was a mistake. So that was 2 squared, which gives you 4. And there you are with your answer. So I can imagine now you know exactly what this would be. What is 980 squared? So of course, the difference between 1000 and 980 is 20. So if you subtract that, that would be 960 in hundreds, in thousands, sorry, plus 20 squared, which is 400. So this is 960, 400. Yeah, and the same would be here. Here we have the difference is 5. So if the difference is 5, you want to square 5 the other side and remove 5. So here will remain with 990, and you know what it means to square. So that's going to be 990,000 plus 5 squared, which is 25. So what you have here, 990,025. So given that, and now that you know the strategy, the same happens like we did for squaring number that is closer to 100. It's the same principle we use for also numbers closer to 1000, also for the numbers that are above 1000. So we will add in this case. So in this case, let's say we have 1003 squared. So what this one will give you will be, you will look at the difference between 1003 and 1000. So that will be 1000, 1000 and 1003. So you get the difference. Here you only get 3. So in that case, what you're going to see is you're going to add. So we're going to say 1003 add 3. So what you have here is 1006 into this is 1000 plus then that 3 squared. So that's going to be to 9. So what you have here at the end of it all will be 100609. Okay, and the same you can come, and when after doing this, now you know how to do this one, yeah, without any problem. So of course the answer will be 1014, yeah, alafu the answer. Now, having done this one and also having done squaring numbers that are closer to 100, I can imagine, I believe this one will not be a big problem, yeah? Because now you know what is 7 square and what is 7 plus 7, which gives you then 1014. And you want to add 49, the square of 7. So that one will give you like that. So without doing, without actually doing any calculation or taking a pen and writing, you can do this in your head. Yeah. So I find that really easy. And I think if you understood this method also, it's going to be easier for you to play with the numbers and improve your mathematics performance. And now, how about squaring numbers that ends in 5? This is another way how you can improve your calculation. If you know from looking at numbers, let's say, given some numbers that ends in 5, you also need to know the hacks or some tricks that you can use to easily calculate these numbers without any problem. So let's see how to square numbers that ends with 5. So the trick is here, if you got 85 squared, so you got 85 squared. So what you want to do is to ignore the other number. So let's 25. So in normal circumstances, we know what is 5 by 5. So that is just 25, yeah? So what you want to do is just write 25 at the end and then add 1 to this. That one becomes 9, and then just take 9 by 8, which gives you 72. So 72 becomes your answer. So what happens is first write 25 at the end, and then just instead of multiplying 8 by 8, now want to add 1 to that 8 to give you 9 and multiply that 9 by 8, and then you have 72 25. The same comes here if you have 45. So you want to write 25 in the beginning here, and then you fill here with 1 plus 5. You fill here with 1 plus 4, which is 5, then you multiply that by 4, which is now the number here, and that one gives you 20. So that one is the answer there. If you get 25, it's the same. So what you want to do, you first write 25 at the end, and then you add 1, give you 3, and then you multiply that 3 by 2 and gives you 6. How about 35 squared? You first write 25, and then you add here. This one gives you 4. 4 by 3 gives you 12. So that's the trick. And if you can use if you understood it, you can use this method to calculate any number that ends with 5. What about squaring numbers that end in 1? So for example, you have 31 in our example below, 21, 41, and 61. I have a trick also here, and this is for me also another trick you can use every time. So let's see how you can do it. So in normal situation, we know what is 30 squared, yeah, which gives you 900, because what you do, it's only 3 that you're squaring. But because you just don't want too much of this, like you don't know what exactly that means, so what you're going to do is you're going to say, so because 30 is 1 less than 31, so we are going to say, we are going to add the 2. So we're going to say, so 30 we know. So up to this level, we know what is 30 squared, but we don't know what is 31 squared. Okay? But we know that the difference between 31 and 30 is only 1. So what we do, we subtracted that 1 from 31 and squared it and get this 900. And with 900, what we want to do is to just add 30, which we know, plus 31. This one gives you 61. And when you add it here, you add it to 900, 61. So you have 961. Okay? I think that was not well explained. So let's go to 21 squared. Now, 21 squared, we know exactly. I mean, the trick is that the intention here is that you're supposed to subtract 1 from that number, from that 21. You remain with 20, square that, and since we know the square of 20, which gives you 400, now what you want to do is you want to add then 20 plus 21, which gives you here 41. So you got 441. Yeah, that's your answer. The same here if you got 141, like if you got 41, what you know from your head is 40 squared should give you 1,600. But then you want to add 40 plus 41, which is 81. So that one gives you 1681. That becomes your answer. And given that, I can imagine that now we can say the numbers here without doing any calculation, no? Without, because what we're going to have here would be 360. And lastly, we are going to have here 60 squared, which is 3600, plus 61 plus 60, which is 121. So that one comes here 1 to 1. So that gives you 3721. So that one becomes easier. I hope you also got this very easily. I also hope that you find this easy and you can use it for yourself also for later calculation, yeah? Now, you remember we looked at squaring the number 35, how to square number 35. And like I said, we said that if you want to square the number 25, you first write 25 at the end, and then add 1 here, which makes this 3, and then multiply by 2. So that one gives you 6. So in this situation, if you want to multiply a number like 24, so 24 squared. So what you're going to do is, we are going to say, because 24 is 1 less than 25. So what you're going to do is to say, you first get the square of the number above 24, which is 25, which gives you 625. And then you subtract 24 plus 25, additions of this, which is 49. So what you do, you just subtract 49 from there. And if you do that, you basically, so for example, here, you remain with 586. Yeah. So that one becomes that just the shortest way how you can do your calculation. And that means you are not going to really focus on multiplying everything. But okay, so let's go here to 34 squared. So 34 squared is basically 35 squared minus 35 plus 34, which is 69. So what you're having here will be, so what we will get here will be 35 squared minus, in bracket, 34 plus 35, and this is 69. So if you do this, if you remember, we said 35 squared, you just write 25 first, and then you add 1 here, so this is 12. Yeah. So when you do that, so how about squaring numbers that end with 4? This is also easy. Now the trick is, remember we said that if you want to square any number that ends with 5, you always write 25 at the end. Now we're going to use the same principle, but in a different way. So let's take first example 34 so that you understand better. So let's say, what is 34 squared? Now what you're going to do, we're going to add 1 to 34, it will give you 35, and then you square that, and then we will just subtract 34 plus 35. So this basically equals to 35 squared minus 34 plus 35. Okay, so this is 69, and we know that 35 squared will give you 1225. Yeah, so if you subtract that, you get 1176. Now what we also do with the 24 squared, we'll add 1 here to make it 25. So what we have is 25 squared minus, in bracket, 25 plus 24. So this one will give you 49. So here, you know, you have 625 minus 49. This one will give you 576. So how about then 74 squared? So this one will be also equal to 75 squared minus 74 plus 75. And this one will give you 149. And this one, 75 squared, like you know, will give you 5625. Now you need to subtract that, and what you get is 5476. And now we can also do the same here with the 94 squared. So this is equals to 95 squared minus 94 plus 95. This alone equals to 189. And this one equals to, so you have 25, like I said, and then you multiply, this is 9025. 9025, if you subtract this one, gives you 8836. Yeah, so that one becomes your answer. And easy like that, you just, after knowing how this one works, then you don't even have to write things. You will see this and just, like, you will see an answer, and it becomes so easy to just add it up. How do you square a number that end with 6? This is also a very easy phenomenon, and you can use the same strategy, but now in this case we're going to add. So we're still going to say, okay, how can we square a number that is closer to these numbers, like that is for the case, for like case of 46, we are going to use 45. For the case of 26, we're going to take 25 squared. For the case of 16, we're going to take 15 squared. For 76, we're going to take 75 squared. But then in this case, we are going to add, okay, because they are more than 45. We are going to use 45, but 46 is more than 20. 46 is more than 45. 46 is more than 45. Therefore, we're going to add the result, okay? So we're going to say 45 squared plus 46 plus 45. So this one totals gives you 91. And this one, if you calculate it well, it will give you, so like I said, 25 here, and then you are going to have 20, 25 minus that one. You come up with, so you add this one instead. So what you're going to get is 21, 16. And the same here, you add this one, 25 squared, 625. So that one gives you that, plus then in bracket 25 plus 26, which is 51. So if you add that one, this one will give you 676. And the same here, then plus 16 plus 15, which is 31. So at the end of it all, you have here 15 squared, which is 225. Then you add 31, that one gives you 256. For 75, it's the same. You add then in bracket what is 76 plus 75. This one gives you 151. And this one gives you, let's say, 25, and then 56, 24. So when you add all this, you get 57, 76 as your answer. So in normal situation, you just, depending on how much you do this kind of calculation and play with the numbers, you are going to be well to go. You don't have to really struggle and say, oh yeah, I need to do calculation. But I'm just trying to give you a principle and some easiest way how to do this calculation without the stress that it normally involves, okay? And last, I want to explain to you how to square numbers that end with 9. And let's go. So we are going to use the same principle that we used when we calculated 34 squared. But in this case, we are going to make the number that ends with 9, make it like a tenth. So let's say, for instance, here, we have 59 squared. What we're going to do, we are going to promote 59 to 60. So we're going to say, what is 60 squared? But since we know what 6 squared is, that makes it work easier. But in this case, we're also going to subtract. So we're going to subtract then 60 plus 59. Yeah, so here we have 3600, and we just subtract 119. Yeah, so then we remain with 3481. Yeah, so that is easier like that than, and the same here, we promote 39 to 40, and then subtract then 39 plus 40. So here we have 79, and here we have 1600. So if we subtract that one, we remain with 1521. You have your answer, you go home. And for 79, we are promoting it to 80 squared minus 79 plus 80. What we get here is 159. What we get here is 6400. If you subtract the 2, you have 6241. You get your answer. How about 19? So here you promote 19 to 20 squared, which gives you 400. You subtract 19 plus 20, which gives you 39. So this one gives you basically 361. Okay, you have your answer, and go home. Yeah, finish your home assignment. So thank you so much. It was my pleasure to share with you this knowledge, and I believe that after going through all these squaring numbers, you are going to be very good, or you're going to improve your performance in mathematics. Thank you so much, and it's again nice to have you in this channel, and enjoy your time. I don't know, wherever you are standing or wherever you are, enjoy your time, and I hope to bring you a new video next week. Thank you so much, and have a nice time. Bye.